So this is a design for a new cleaning device I have for disabled people. The first part of this design is a bus that has variable speeds turning. So it can act like a automatic broom. They need less force to move stuff. It can also sometimes make less noise or work better than a vacuum, because this kicking stuff up can require less force than the sucking with air if something's stuck. Sometimes it can make less noise than a loud vacuum, sometimes more. It can also make a different noise, so it might bother some people less or some people more. It can be used in conjunction of with a vacuum cleaner to kick it up. Then later, as I'll explain, the vacuum sucks it up. And I also think there should be reciprocating buses so the whole thing becomes skinnier and wider in a reciprocating motion. So like imagine like accordion that collapses, part of it collapses and part of it expands, but in such a way that it pushes dirt to the center of the bus, and also loosens it up in a more of a gentle way, which creates less noise because it can be gentler. And it will also make that the dirt spreads out less, making it easier for it to clean up stuff. The second thing we could do with this is make all the different components have some ability to reduce and dampen noise themselves. And you can study it with different fibers and stuff to trap noise as the noise pumps around it, different materials within it for the vibrations and stuff, and everything. With lightweight electric motors, this will be pretty easy design. The next part is a vacuum tube that connects to this whole thing and sucks up the stuff from here. Now they work together. Sometimes a vacuum is better at sucking up stuff like liquids or small particles that might disperse more easily. Sometimes a bus is better with bigger particles or particles that need to be loosened up first without they stick. Sometimes, but this also means sometimes you don't need a separate container to pick up stuff because it all goes to a container over here. Sometimes you still might use a separate container, but it spills up less. Now another part of this vacuum idea I have to make it better is a noise cancelling feature. And a noise cancelling feature would work that if it has adjusting ability to adjust its how much it's sucking, so if it's and this can work to cancel out noise, because remember the noise is a sound vibration, so it goes up and down. But if the sucking goes up and down in the right way, it can cancel out the noise the sucking itself makes, interfering with it and kind of canceling out. Like every time it goes, a pressure wave comes up, it sucks harder. Every time a pressure wave goes down, it sucks less, possibly canceling out. Now, it can't fully cancel out all noise, but it could cancel out some of it without losing much efficiency. You could also look for quieter motors and better motors. A new type of motor out there that I've talked about, but now they're starting to commercialize it, that could work for this is a motor based on a fishtail instead of a propeller. So fishtails and other aerodynamic things in sails can collect sails are inverse or wings. They don't work by like propellers on like copters or something like that by moving air, but instead when you move them, some air becomes low pressure and some higher pressure. Higher pressure air goes to lower pressure air and sucks it. And this is a more efficient setup than propellers with how much air moves, but also so you need less power. Less power means less noise and more energy efficient, but also creates less turbulence, and the turbulence gets rid of, creating less noise. And it will look kind of like a bunch of little vibrating little wings that move, creating a flap, kind of like a fishtail again, almost. Another thing we could do, Another thing is that all this stuff, devices together, can be adjustable with you can adjust the noise canceling feature. So more noise canceling, less efficient, at less powerful its maximum is, because you have to lower the power and up the power, and it doesn't work as well at the high power settings, but low power settings will work better. You can adjust the reciprocating part of the bus, or the bus's fan speed, and you can adjust all this together to make the easiest clean job possible and less noisy experience for the person. And that would very, very much custom. Or you could try building a smart feature that automatically adjusts all these features for different things. But that will take a lot more adaptation and machine learning. And how the controls are with that, well, I'm not certain. Maybe building a bunch of sensors that can detect what type of dirt or something. But that seems a lot harder and more challenging. Maybe possible. Okay, probably possible, but a significant technological hurdle. The other thing you could do to make this whole thing a lot better is you could have the vacuum cleaner be the actual vacuum and the supply be on the ground, and then have wheels to stabilize it, or gyroscopes, so it can just drag along, so you can have really thin stuff to move up and clean most of the area, where you don't have to drag that much weight around with you if you have muscle weakness or something. You have it always standing up so it doesn't fall over. It's hard for some people to pick up stuff that's fallen over or stuff on the ground. But also that having it standing up all the time, just to pick up, the stabilization, also the weight distribution is nicer. You could even have the wheels motorized if you're very weak, to have you automatically help push you in the right direction, or if it fills up with a lot of things. Another feature that I thought about this whole thing is it could automatically connect to your headphones or other devices to give you even better sound cancellation for those specific frequencies generated by the device, and instead of just all around every single frequencies or amount of noise. Other ways of reducing how bad it is if you have a longer extension cord or something, the noise is less, so you could have less noise if the vacuum suctions actually starts, the propeller, if it starts way far, but you have to balance that, because the longer the extension, the more power you need, because you lose power, so then you have to rev up the power. Having a smartly designed hose is critical for this one. So maybe you want to have various different hose attachments for different lengths, for different jobs, because the longer hose, the more you lose. You can make a stretchy hose, but there's a limit to how stretchy you can make something. Because the problem with stretching out stuff is they want to come back and collapse, so that will require more force. It will be interesting to see if you can make a material that has an adjustable stretchiness. And you don't want the material just to wind up on a curve. You want it to stretch, because around all these curves and stuff in the material will mean significant suction is lost every time it winds up. So our materials that come under certain conditions, looser, more or less stretchy. Some of them are very fancy and some of them are simple. The simplest ones are you blow in air or something else and it becomes more stiff or less stiff. So you could use that, but those ones are going to be heavier and more bulky usually. Then there's fancy electrical ones with magnets. That might be a future more idea of doing it. The other ways of maybe doing all this stuff would be making it longer or shorter, is you could design polymers that depolymerize or repolymerize to some extent to change the elasticity. So polymerizing is just taking a repeating unit in a molecule like A and making it AAA or AA, and that's what plastic stuff are made out of, or wood. And the more longer the chain, the more different its properties are. So you can make less or more stretchy. There's also cross-linking, when you have chains in your polymers and they're attached together. And you can lower or increase the cross-linking, and cross-linking oftentimes makes something stronger and stiffer and less elastic and easier stretch. So you could change that. And there's also like smart muscles now, plastics that if you put electricity, they coil up and become smaller. These are all possibilities that would be more futuristic and require significant re-looking at. But there might be interesting possibilities. Well, again, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is really hard. With your help, I think you can do it. Also, if you have any ideas for future videos, comments, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. It really helps out the channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is really hard, but with your help, I think you can do it. Again, thank you very much. Goodbye.